is going on, Slumpbusters? This is your boy Kyle, and we are back with another YouTube quick hitter. I wish I was coming bearing better news here today, but my San Diego Padres, since the All-Star break, have given back a 6.5 game lead on the National League wildcard, and headed into Saturday, they find themselves tied with the average to below average Cincinnati Reds for the second National League wildcard spot. And this would be a catastrophic disappointment if the Padres don't end up making it into the playoffs. This is a team that now has the 6th highest payroll in Major League Baseball and is treading just on the line of the luxury tax threshold that the team intends to then surpass next year with some key offseason acquisitions, hopefully, that might begin with keeping Tommy Pham around. But 2021 was always the year that the Padres had intended for this rebuild to turn around. And they have the young stars. They have the MVP of Major League Baseball. They've supplemented that with giant contracts for Eric Hosmer and Will Myers and Yu Darvish, and of course Manny Machado, who he himself has a second-tier level MVP candidacy. But the Padres find themselves now tied with the Cincinnati Reds for that final wildcard spot at a time where the San Diego Padres have lost some really winnable games. They got swept last week by the Colorado Rockies and lose the season series against Colorado. They lost 3 games against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and then they lose to Philadelphia in a winnable game on Friday night that gets Cincinnati to a tie with them, but Cincinnati hasn't been playing their best baseball either. They dropped a few games against the Cubs and then find themselves in a series against the Marlins this weekend, the same Marlins team that split 4 games against the Padres early on in August. And this is really frustrating for a few reasons if you're a San Diego Padres fan. Not the least of which is that the team has the MVP of Major League Baseball, Fernando Tatis Jr., on their team right now. He's a heavy favorite to win National League MVP, even if the Padres find a way to squander what was at one point a 93% chance to make the playoffs and end up fading out of contention altogether. Not only do the Padres find themselves in such a position with the MVP of the league, but Cincinnati isn't even that good. The Reds and the Padres both have the same WAR among starting pitchers. Padres are tied for 12th with Cincinnati so far this year. Their pitching staffs have equally been deep, but also battling injuries and don't have a true number 1 starter. And the Cincinnati Reds offense, which last year was the worst offense of any playoff team last year. They finished 16th out of 16 among playoff teams. The Cincinnati Reds offense this year has not been statistically that much better. Now, they've been really top heavy with Nick Castellanos and Joey Votto and Jesse Winker having all-star seasons. And for Joey Votto, he didn't make the all-star team, but he hit 7 home runs in 7 days back a couple weeks ago. With that top-heavy offense, it has been a cluster after that for the Cincinnati Reds. It's been Aristides Aquino being a disappointment, Eugenio Suarez in the third base position being totally up for grabs. The Reds actually have the lowest WAR in Major League Baseball at the third base position and the center field position so far this year. So other than those top 3 guys, the Reds offense has been poor so far this year, and even during this stretch where they've surmounted a 6.5 game lead in the span of a month since the All-Star break, even in that stretch, the Cincinnati Reds have only been 4 games above 500, and the San Diego Padres have been 8 games below 500, and that's been the difference of 6.5 games, swinging in favor of the Cincinnati Reds. Now, are the Padres out of it yet? No. There's still a 50-50 chance they make the playoffs, but the Padres only have 3 games left against the Diamondbacks, 0 against the Rockies, and 13 against either the Dodgers or the San Francisco Giants. 3/4 of those 13 games happen to be on the road. So not great for the San Diego Padres, but their team is still much better than the Cincinnati Reds on paper and statistically. Significantly, the Padres have a pretty good bullpen, so that should help them coming down the stretch. Altogether, the Padres should still beat the Cincinnati Reds. Even though the Reds have one of the easier schedules in baseball, the Padres have one of the harder schedules in baseball. But in order to prevent an all-time of a collapse, the Padres need some wins over these next couple weeks against the Philadelphia Phillies and the Arizona Diamondbacks before September rolls around and they got to play the Giants a bunch. And the easiest way to turn this around for the Padres, 3 games against the Los Angeles Dodgers this week, who are rolling in hot as can be on the trail of Juju's San Francisco Giants by 1.5 games as of Saturday morning. But the Padres hold the season series against the Dodgers. And yes, their pitching staff is depleted. And yes, the Padres may be down to just 2 or 3 starting pitchers and a bunch of openers. But if you can win 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, I think you're starting to roll right back on track. Make sure to follow the Slumpbuster podcast on YouTube, and make sure to check out all of our social media platforms, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere you can get Slumpbuster content, especially Twitter, because you can see some of the comical sports memes in their earliest templates. Make sure to check out the Caveman Coffee Co., and you can use that code SLUMP with the link in the description to today's episode if you want to get 20% off of your order. So make sure to use that code SLUMP with the link in the description.